Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG, WTF, LOL, FTWBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001, and we are booking, or I should say, more importantly, we are booking the Invasion angle, and we're going to be running Friday Night Smackdown today. Before we get to Smackdown, though, I want to make one pretty big announcement to you fans out there, to you nerds and geeks. I've officially found a New Japan save, or a New Japan mod, which I knew wasn't going to be hard to do at all. I've converted it. I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit because, for one, there's a lot of superstars, like, for instance, just a quick little, glimpse here. I have had to already update AJ Styles, Tanahashi, Okada, and Shinsuke Nakamura. A little bit of a spoiler report there. We're playing when Nakamura and Styles are still with the company, but I'm just going to spoil it right now. We're playing after Wrestle Kingdom 9, pretty much. That's when I watched New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's what the era I'm most familiar with. I'm not really familiar with 2016 because I haven't been keeping in touch with it. I don't want to get too much into New Japan here. We'll talk about this when we go to book it. Basically, what I'm saying is the mod I downloaded, in my opinion, feel that it's very criminally underrated. Or a lot of the superstars are criminally underrated. For instance, Shinsuke Nakamura had barely any star quality or charisma, which I think we all can agree that that's a complete and total bullshit. Let alone Hiroshi Tanahashi. Let's just put it this way. When I went to go make the figurehead or the ace for the company, absolutely none of the main eventers were recommended to be our figureheads, and mostly because none of them had star quality. So I'm going to have to look through a lot of the people and, make judgments on whether or not I feel they need to be edited. I'll go over it all when I get to it. Basically, what I'm saying is, though, that we have found a New Japan mod, and we are hopefully going to start booking that here shortly. But this isn't New Japan. This is WWF, and we're going to be booking Smackdown, so let's just go ahead and get in this show, nerds and geeks. So we're only going to have 2 pre-show matches tonight. I'm contemplating putting Chavo Guerrero on the card, mainly because he's the only superstar I haven't used besides Shawn Stasiak, who we see here. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't really have anyone for Chavo to go over that I would want to put him over, so who cares? So interesting enough, this actually got a C, which, I'll be honest, I did not think it'd get a C. I have a feeling Canyon helped out this match a little bit. Thank you, Canyon. So in a pre-show bout that apparently had some subpar wrestling and a little heat, the team of Shawn Stasiak and Canyon and Awesome defeating K-Quick and Kai and Tai when Mike Awesome defeated Funaki with the Awesome Bomb. So pretty much Awesome just getting his win back from Raw since we had him lose since we thought we were going to push Mark Jindrak. Stasiak was off his game, unfortunately. And out of the in-ring performance, Canyon with a C+ over here. Mike Awesome not too far behind with a C, so. Moving on, we have K-Quick improving in Rumble and Shawn Stasiak's improving in performance. We move on to our main event of the pre-show, which gets us a C+. The WCW United States Championship is on the line in this. I thought about putting the world title on the line, but I figured, you know what? Let's just put the United States title on the line. I don't want the world title to get affected by this because I believe the matches that the title's defended in affects the prestige, and I didn't want to affect the prestige too much, so I only made the United States title on the line here because that does need some prestige into it, and I believe this match will help it since it's at like a D and this match was a C+. So we have a decent pre-show match. Booker T defeating Farouk, who is a former WCW World Champion, the first ever African American World Champion, nerds and geeks. I did a report on him. Defeated him with the Harlem Hangover, and making his first defense, I guess, here on TV, or in the WWF with the United States title. I have no idea if he's defended it at all. That's one thing I don't like about it. It should show how many defenses they've had before. But then again, that's up to the mod creators. So Booker T with an in-ring performance of a B, and Farouk with a C+. Booker, you're going to have to step up if you ask me, dude. A B? I was expecting you to have a B+. Farouk should not be that far behind. So let's go ahead and start this show, and we start off with an A. Holy crap, nerds and geeks. What a way to start off the show, right? An A? So SmackDown starts off in the middle of the ring, and not in the middle of the ring. Starts off with Triple H in the middle of the ring, and you can tell he's clearly not happy, and he even states it by grabbing the mic and saying, "I'm not in a very good mood tonight. So Foley, get your ass out here." We then have a few minutes, waiting until Mick Foley's music finally hits, and he makes his way out, and he says, "What do you want, Triple H? What is it?" Triple H then replies, Don't act like you don't know why I'm out here. 3 shows now. 2 Raws, 1 Smackdown. You've made me defend one of my championships. And this... Or whatever. And in this past Monday Night Raw, I lost the Intercontinental title, And I'm out here because I want my damn rematch. And you're gonna give me it before I kick your ass, in front of all these people. Before, I'd imagine Triple H probably ignore my, obviously made fun of Triple H voices. This is pretty serious. I might be making a joke out of it, but I don't really know exactly. Whenever you hear Triple H, you just gotta do it. You gotta do it. My apologies. Either way, I'd imagine Triple H getting in Mick Foley's face when he says that until we hear the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle's music hit as he makes his way down to the ramp into the ring, and he says, "Now wait a minute, Triple H. You tapped out on Monday Night Raw. You lost. Fair and square. If anyone should be getting a rematch tonight, it should be Kurt Angle. I mean, Chris Benoit didn't beat me. Chris Benoit couldn't beat me." And then I'd imagine, both Triple H, oh yeah, and Kurt Angle being, yeah, and, they start getting each other's faces, blah, blah, blah. And then Foley, gets in between them. He separates them, and he says, "You know what, Kurt, you're right. Triple H did tap out this past Monday. But you know what else? Triple H is right as well. He is entitled to a rematch. He has a rematch clause. So tonight, right here in Arkansas, because I have no idea where the Bud Walton Arena is, right here in Arkansas, we're going to have a WWF Intercontinental Championship rematch as Chris Benoit defends his newly won Intercontinental title against Triple H. And Kurt, whoever wins that match, whether it be Triple H or Chris Benoit, you will get your championship match at Judgment Day." And that sets up our match. We now have a rematch for Triple H and Benoit later on tonight, and whoever wins that match will face Kurt at the pay-per-view. So we have the announcers put over that we will indeed see Triple H take on Benoit, whatever. And then I'd imagine we'd coming back from a commercial break here. We go to a C+ rating as we have Matt Hardy, who's already made his entrance out. He's waiting in the ring for his opponent because, as it was announced on Monday Night Raw, in order for WWF to get that WCW World Title shot, that we'll find out the number 1 contendership later on tonight, WCW also was supposed to get a championship, and Vince chose the European title, so that's what's on the line tonight. Shane McMahon comes out, and he says, "Now I think we all know by now that my dad and I made a deal this past Monday. That deal was at Judgment Day that a WWF, I keep almost saying WWE, a WWF rep will challenge Booker T for the WCW World Championship. And that man will be decided tonight in a triple threat match between The Rock, Chris Jericho, and The Big Show. In exchange for that match, my father gave me a title shot of his own choosing, of course, and he chose the European Championship. Now, Matt, you and I've got no issues with you. And in fact, I'm willing to make an exception. If you ditch the WWF and join it with WCW, I'll call off this match and you can bring the WWF European Championship over to WCW. Of course, if you refuse, then we'll have the match and WCW will still get the European Championship. It's honestly up to you." I'd imagine Matt then grabbing the mic and he says, "You know, Shane, there is no way in hell I joined WCW. So Shane, who do you got from me? Is it Sean O'Hare? What about Chuck Palumbo? Who is it?" And then Shane says, "All right, Matt, well, that's your mistake. And no, it's not Sean O'Hare. It's not Chuck Palumbo. It's neither of the WCW Tag Team Champions. In fact, your opponent tonight is one of the most gifted wrestlers in the entire sport. That man being Lance Storm." And then out comes Lance Storm, and we have our European Championship match that will open up the show. Matt Hardy defending the title against Lance Storm. We move on to that. It gets a solid C here, and about that had decent wrestling, but not much weight in heat. Lance Storm defeating Matt Hardy after we have a distraction from Sean O'Hare, and Lance wins the European Championship. So Shane was right. We're going to get our championship either way. Matt, come join us or not. Matt didn't join us. The WCW Tag Team Champions, or should I say at least one half of the WCW Tag Team Champions, got his nose involved, or, got involved in the match, I should say, which led to Matt getting distracted, probably turning around from a super kick to Lance Storm, who then pinned Matt Hardy for the 1-2-3, capturing the European Championship. So Matt with an in-ring performance of a B- and Storm with a C. Not too bad if you ask me. No worker improvements, unfortunately. We go to Dirt Sheet, though. I will check this out. So Matt with that star quality, but what I'm more interested in is to see what Lance Storm. Lance Storm got nothing. Oh, wait, no, he got something. He got a good momentum. But that's it. Interesting. So moving on from this segment, we go to an E+, which, oh, what a horrible rating, but, you know, whatever. It's expected. There's not many talent in this match. So I imagine coming back from commercial break now, we have Spike Dudley in the middle of the ring. He's waiting for his opponent. Of course, Spike Dudley, a member or a part of that WWF Light Heavyweight title tournament that's going to be taking place here. And out comes his opponent, and it's Funaki. Funaki, of course, a member of Kai Tai. But before Funaki can make it to the ring, he's attacked by a debuting Jamie Noble. Now, I know on Sunday Night Heat we said he's debuting. That was my kind of mistake because I, forgot Sunday Night Heat, Thursday Night Smackdown. And to be fair, I wasn't really sure if I was going to debut Noble here, but I figured, why not? It's a fun segment and it gets Noble on TV, and I kind of am enjoying the idea that I have for Jamie Noble pretty much. So Noble comes out, he attacks Funaki, he tosses him off the stage pretty much saying, get out of here, and he reaches for the mic in his trunks and he says, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to see the greatest debut since The Undertaker. I only said The Undertaker because I remember Taker's debut was great. I was thinking Kurt Angle, but Kurt Angle's technically not a former world champion as of right now, so it wouldn't make much sense to say Kurt Angle. My name is Jamie Noble, and I am more deserving to be in this tourney than Funaki. So Spike, consider yourself lucky, because tonight you're taking on the toughest redneck to come to the WWF since Stone Cold Steve Austin himself. And you'll be remembered as the guy who gave Jamie Noble his first win. So Noble taking out Funaki and pretty much just inserting himself in here as his debut. I'm going to win this match, and I'm going to go on to win the Light Heavyweight Championship, he's saying. Unfortunately, he's in the ring with Spike Dudley, in a bout that apparently had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Spike defeating Jamie Noble with an acid drop. What is this, Tony Hawk's Underground 2? If no one got that joke, I'm sorry. I've been playing a lot of that game. Either way, it's a move. Terrible wrestling. Interesting. So both superstars had an in-ring performance of a D, but I got a C-. Well, either way, Spike moves on into the light heavyweight title tourney. And I want to see something here. Spike was penalized for inconsistency. So that's probably why it was. Because, what? Jamie Noble's got star quality? Holy crap. I knew there was a reason I liked you, Jamie. All right, so we now know so far we have Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko, and Spike Dudley have all moved on into the light heavyweight title tourney. So moving on to that, we go to a C- angle here as Spike is celebrating his victory, of course, moving on in the tournament. When out of nowhere, here comes Val Venus and the Good Father, representing the right to censor, of course. They make their way down to the ring, and they start beating up on Spike Dudley until, of course, the Dudley boys rush out to save the day. It's being, I put it down here because, presumably for what happened to Irie, but let's be honest. We all know that's the reason why the right to censor came out and attacked Spike, also prolonging this feud. So pretty much, RTC beating down on Spike, Dudley saving the day. Simple as that. We then go to a B- as Shane McMahon and some of the WCW guys, Booker T, Canyon, Awesome, Sean O'Haire, Chuck Palumbo, and now, of course, Lance Storm, are all backstage and they're celebrating Lance Storm's title victory when Shane stands up on one of the tables and he begins to tap one of the wine glasses and he goes, boys, tonight is a good night for WCW. WWF may have taken the first shot, but we were the first to wound them. So first things first, congrats to Lance Storm. He then raises Lance's arm in the air. Lance is holding up the WWF European Championship. I almost said championship. And then Shane points at it and he says, you see this, gentlemen? This may not be the most important prize in the WWF, but it's just the beginning. First, the European Championship. Next, the WWF. And I'd imagine, the boys all chinging their beers or their wines, whatever it is, and drinking up a storm, celebrating Lance Storm's victory. We got a B- here. I want to make something, kind of say something on camera here for a second. I had a comment that told me that Team WCW is kind of weak, and you know what? You are 100% correct. I mean, if you really watch the invasion angle or anything, you'll know that that's probably one of the biggest complaints and gripes that a lot of people had with the invasion angle was the fact that basically Team WCW was represented by, maybe a handful, not even really a handful, 2 or 3 main eventers from actual WCW, and then just pretty much some, mid-carders here and there, guys that really didn't mean much to the company. So, yeah, you're correct in that Team WCW basically doesn't look good, but at the same time, another, problem with that angle was WWF's refusal to put over Team WCW guys, which I'm going to try to not do pretty much. But I'll be honest, maybe, so far on the TV we haven't had a WCW guy win except for Lance Storm, so there is that. But I do plan on bringing in some big WCW names. I'm just holding off on bringing in those WCW names for now because storyline purposes. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Apparently this angle got the crowd hotter as well. So moving on from this angle, we go to an A-star. Who said The Rock couldn't get an A-star rating? I pointed this out as well. Someone said that Austin pretty much got 3 A-stars along with, The Rock hasn't gotten any A-stars. And I this is what I said back to that commenter. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking on you guys. I just want to kind of establish this here and there while it's in my head. So the reason, and this is what I said to him, Stone Cold has gotten like 3 A-star segments, and the reason why I think he said this is because I don't know if he's the same guy, but I know someone before said I should have basically Austin and Rock kind of battle out to see the figurehead. I think I've said this before, but I'm not sure. But Stone Cold can't be the figurehead because he's currently not a babyface. So, and I don't plan on changing him because I have a really good idea. I kind of want to make a heel Austin work, something WB or WWF wasn't able to do. And another reason I'm bringing this up is because, like that commenter said, Austin did indeed get 3 A-star segments, whereas The Rock, as of right now, has, before this segment, hadn't got any A-star segments. And this is what I pointed out. I pointed out the fact that pretty much Austin has been in segments with people who are already established main eventers. He's been in sharing TV with The Undertaker, Kane, Triple H, and Mick Foley, guys who are already established, whereas The Rock has been, sharing more TV time with lesser known people, like a lot of the WCW guys. So I feel like I'm actually more impressed with The Rock, who's been able to, get maybe not A ratings, but close to A's, like B's and B pluses with these guys who really aren't that well known, compared to Austin, who's able to get an A-star with a main eventer. And the reason I bring this up mostly is because this segment just kind of makes me feel like I was right in that segment, and that I'm kind of glad I didn't jump the gun and start worrying about The Rock, because you know what? Right here we have Rock and Jericho, 2 established main eventers, 2 great microphone workers, and they got an A-star, which honestly they would. So basically what's happening in this segment, sorry for the little rant here, Rock, he's backstage and he's hyping up, tonight's triple threat match. I didn't write too much of a script here because I wasn't really necessarily sure what I'd want them to say. I just figured, you know what, Rock, Jericho, do you. Just go off. They're not unscripted. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this about that opening angle between Triple H, Foley, and Angle. All 3 of those men were unscripted, and I think it said Angle actually was able to work the crowd beautifully or something, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. So I didn't have these guys work out the script, but either way, Rock's hyping up, the triple threat match later on tonight for the #1 contendership for the WCW title, and then in comes Jericho as he interrupts him. Jericho and Rock then I imagine going back and forth on the mic, pretty much, saying why they're going to win, and they even result probably to a little name calling because The Rock and Jericho, they're great on the mic, and I feel like it'd be funny as hell. And then Rock finally stops Jericho after they're going back and forth, and he says, "Look here, Chris Jericho. The Rock understands that you got the WWF's back. The Rock understands that the Big Show has the WWF's back. But tonight, The Rock will show you that he's the one leading this war. And The Rock is going to end this war at Judgment Day, starting tonight when he beats your ass for the #1 contendership." And then, maybe The Rock just says, "I'll see you out there," and he just kind of shoulder checks Jericho as he walks by, and I imagine just as, Rock's walking off, the camera gets all close in Jericho, and he's all mad, kind of mumbling to himself, like, blah, 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 blah. Jericho's improving in acting as well, so that's pretty rad. Just a simple, segment between The Rock and Jericho that I wanted to do. It reminded me of back in the days when you had that one great segment between Rock and Jericho where it was like, oh boy, how did I forget it? They were going back and forth on the mic, and they even started using each other's, like, catchphrases. Like Jericho said, if you smell what Y2J is cooking. And then Rock's all like, you want to smell what, you want The Rock to smell what Y2J's cooking? Well, I'll take a smell. And he sniffs the air and he says, it smells like grade A Canadian moose piss or something. I don't know. It was just, I'm even smiling thinking about it. That was such a great freaking segment. I might watch it after I'm done recording this. I love that segment. Rock and Jericho were great. Anyway, let's move on to the next segment. We go to a C-. Right to censor. They're backstage. You know, Richards, Good Father, Val Venus all buddying up. And then all of a sudden we hear is, hey, Stevie, from Bubba Ray Dudley's mouth. And as soon as the Right to Censor turn around, they are jumped by the Dudley boys. I'd imagine Stevie Richards screams like a little girl and runs off as Val Venus and the Good Father and the Dudley boys are all just brawling in the backstage until they are pulled apart. And apparently Steven Richards was very underwhelming here. But either way, we go on to our next segment, which does a C- as well. I'd imagine before, you know, this match even takes place, as we see Bubba making his way out to the ring, Cole putting over that this match was made by Commissioner Foley after that backstage incident that we just saw. Either way, we have a C-. This was a bout that had a decent wrestling, not much Wayne Heat. It's a draw. I did it a sports entertainment finish, as we see here in the Road Agent notes. You'll see sports entertainment finish, which just means it's pretty much just thrown out. And it descended into chaos pretty much after we saw Richards, the Good Father, and Devon Dudley all become involved and just start brawling here. Bubba had the superior in-ring performance with a C, but not by much by Val Venus. We look at the worker improvements, we don't have any. But if we go to the the Road Agent notes, excuse me, this was our Wild Brawl match. I've said this many times, but every show, not only are we required to have a storytelling match, but we're also required to have either a Wild Brawl, a Mayhem, or something else. Maybe it's Car Crash. I don't know if that's what it's called, but we're pretty much supposed to have a chaotic type match. And I made this one a Wild Brawl match, which just means it's pretty much just goes into a Wild Brawl, which is why I had the Right to Censor and Devon get involved as well. And yeah, I figured this would just work out. It's the perfect storyline to work it out for, since they're both mad at each other, of course. Bubba and Devon mad that they attacked their brother. The Right to Censor's mad that they attacked Ivory. And here's something I haven't seen yet. Bubba Ray got a bonus for being well suited for the style of match, so that's awesome. He also has star quality. I hate how, it says right here, got a bonus for going all out, but he, what? Wait, Bubba Ray was not penalized for not dealing with the pressure they're trying to... Huh? I swear, sometimes I don't understand these things. Either way. Moving on, we then go to a C+. Coming back from the commercial break, this is also part of the WWF Light Heavyweight Tournament, and a decent match. Eddie Guerrero defeating Jeff Hardy with a frog splash after we had an interference from Chuck Palumbo. So what I'd imagine happening here is Jeff is going up for the Swanton Bomb. Here comes Chuck Palumbo, pushes Jeff off the top turnbuckle without the ref seeing. Eddie sees Jeff down, goes for the frog splash, I guess. 1, 2, 3. He moves on to the lightweight tournament. So once again, one of the WCW Tag Team Champions costing the Hardy Boys a match. Apparently it deserved better announcing here. Either way, though, Eddie got an in-ring performance of a B-, as did Jeff Hardy. So I kind of wish this would have got a B, but I'm assuming the interference affected it a little bit. So here we go. Let me double check. Wow, Eddie, you got a lot of good stuff going for you. Oh, drugs. Eddie, don't do that no more. Wait, I hope that doesn't mean that he was in it. His use of hard drugs. You better not have been on drugs, Eddie. I swear to God. I said, please. I've had too many issues with X-Pac. If I click next and it says Eddie Guerrero was on drugs during the match, I'm going to be pissed. Oh my God! Oh, I hurt my hand because I hit something that was hard because I punched the thing. Oh my God. Eddie Guerrero is one of my favorite wrestlers too, but that's so irritating. Came pretty clear that Eddie was wasted on drugs. You think it would be Jeff Hardy, but no, it was Eddie. And I just gave him that victory. Either way, we go to a B segment here as Triple H is just pacing around the locker room. Finally, Stephanie just stands up and she stops and she says, "What is wrong?" Triple H just responds, "Where is Austin? Is he still not here?" Steph replies, no, Austin isn't here, but honey, you've got to stop thinking about Austin. It's not his night tonight. It's yours. Don't let Austin's absence affect your performance tonight. Tonight, you're going to get the Intercontinental Championship back, and then we'll find Austin and fix this. But you two can't. It's not so. Excuse me. You and Austin can fix this, so you two can fix this and get back on the same page, pretty much. Triple H then thinks and he says, you're right, but Austin should still be here. So Triple H a little irritated, as we saw on Raw. Stone Cold was pissed that Triple H didn't have his back against the Brothers of Destruction. So he left. And Triple H lost the Intercontinental Championship. So I guess Triple H wants his tag team partner to have his back, but no sign of him at all. Could be worried about Kurt Angle, too. We then go to another B, and I'll be surprised. I did not think that this would get a B, but there you go. So Vince McMahon is backstage, along with Regal, of course. He is furious after WCW captured the European Championship tonight, when both the Hardy Boys walk in, and Matt says, Mr. McMahon? And Vince replies, you've got some nerve walking into my office after what happened tonight. And then Matt says, or responds saying, Mr. McMahon, that's actually what we're here to talk about. First of all, Mr. McMahon, I want to apologize personally for letting you down tonight. But you see, ever since this invasion has started, both Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Haire, the WCW Tag Team Champions, have constantly been a thorn in both my brothers and my sides. So that's why we're requesting to finally get our hands on them this Monday. What do you say, Mr. McMahon? Do you think you can make that happen? Vince replies, you want to get your hands on the WCW Tag Team Champions? I don't blame you two at all. Hell, if it wasn't for those two, the WWF would still have the European Championship. And I've got to say, Matt, I was very impressed with the way you turned down my son's offer to go to the WCW. So I'll talk to Shane. I'll get you guys your match. You guys just better win. And then Matt replies, thank you, Mr. McMahon. You won't regret this. And him and Jeff leave. So basically, Matt and Jeff are sick of the constant interferences from Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Haire. And after being cost the European Championship, they've had about enough. Of course, Jeff was cost his light heavyweight championship opportunity. And Vince said that he'll talk to Shane and he'll get him the match. So let's be honest. Presumably, if Shane McMahon agrees, which I'm the one booking, so he's going to agree, we're going to see, finally, the Hardys get their hands on the WCW Tag Team Champions on Monday Night Raw. Still surprised this got a B. Out of curiosity. I guess it doesn't really tell me who's good on the mic. So we then go to our semi-main main event of the night, which was for the Intercontinental Championship. It got a B-, and a bout that featured great heat and good wrestling. Chris Benoit defeating Triple H with a Dragon Suplex after Kurt Angle interfered, and that's, of course, his first defense of the Intercontinental Championship. Angle was on commentary for this match, if we can show it. Don't believe we can. But he was on commentary for this match, and of course he's going to cost Triple H the match. He wants the Intercontinental Championship. And yeah, he gets the Intercontinental Championship. Whoever is going to be the Intercontinental Champion at at Judgment Day, no matter what. But at the same time, Kurt Angle wants to just finish Chris Benoit. He wants to prove he's better, and what better than by taking the Intercontinental Championship from him. So he cost Triple H this match here tonight. Interestingly here enough, though, Benoit and Triple H don't click, and it made for an awkward bout. You guys got a B-, so it makes me wonder what you guys would have got if it wasn't, if you guys actually did click with each other, which is a shame because I believe Benoit and Triple H have had some great matches during their times. But that is neither here nor there. So either way, a little shame that these guys didn't click, but what can you do? And Triple H was the superior in-ring athlete, but not by much, only by a minus. So we go to the worker improvements. No worker improvements here. If we look at our road agent notes, I made this the storytelling match tonight. And we look at our dirt sheet here, and look at that. Increase the heat. I like that. That's good. It's good. It's good. All right, and I believe this is just telling us that Benoit can turn heel, so not yet. Oh, God, no. Close. I didn't mean to close. Get out of here. What the heck? Go away. Next segment. Thank you. So we then go on to our main event of the night, which got a B. What the heck? Every time I tell these guys, because we look at the road agent note, every time I tell these guys to steal the show, I only get a B. I'm not sure why, but it sucks. Either way, in a superb match, The Rock defeating Jericho and The Big Show in 14 minutes and 59 seconds when Rock beat The Big Show by pinfall, and Rock also carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. The way I'd see this match going out is Chris Jericho hits the Lion Salt on Big Show, turns around, gets a rock bottom by The Rock, rolls out of the ring. Rock hits the People's Elbow on The Big Show. 1, 2, 3. Rock is number one contender, just like that. So apparently this match deserved better announcing, but it did get the crowd buzzing. Jericho had an in-ring performance of a B. Big Show was the worst with a B. Jericho with a B+, Big Show with a B. Not too bad, though, even though he was the worst. And Rock with an A star. Jericho and Big Show are also improving in performance. And here is our dirt sheet. So Jericho's got quite a lot going for him, as does Big Show, and I assume The Rock as well. So there we go. Moving on. We go to our closing segment of the night as The Rock is celebrating. Out comes Booker T. I'd imagine decking The Rock with the WCW Championship and then maybe hitting him with a bookend, better known as the Rock Bottom, but it's Booker T's copied finisher. And this pretty much just, Booker T sending a message to The Rock. We end the show. We got a B+, and it increased our popularity in 10 regions. So Smackdown, all in all, was not too shabby. Not too shabby at all, nerds and geeks. What do we got here? We are number one. Look at that. Dory Funk going over there. Oh, yeah, look at that. Forgot about Heat. Look at all this. Dutch Mantel, better known as, what's his name? Zeb Coulter. What the heck is this? Extreme Bedhead? What is that? Either way, let's look at our, emails. I almost forgot the word there. Despite it saying it right there. So Trish Stratus sustained extreme bedhead. Apparently, what is that? Can we look at that physical? She's not out, but I don't know what it is. Heat, drug test, Smackdown. Oh wow, look at that. Heat got a 2.19. Smackdown with a 31.50. Hell yeah. Oh boy. So Steve Karen, once again, letting us know Sean O'Haire just doesn't get it. The kid can probably cut his loss. Oh. Oh my. Look at The Rock here, nerds and geeks. I'm liking what I hear from Bubba Ray Dudley. There's money in his promos if given airtime. Huh? We finally got someone to say something nice. I think we've only had one other person. Good for, thank you for that, Rock. Rock says that we should, focus on Bubba. Not that I wasn't gonna. So we still get the same complaint about Sean O'Haire, but all in all, Rock likes Bubba Ray Dudley. Holy crap. Taz has been identified. You aren't even a wrestler, Taz. You're an announcer. What are you doing? Taz has been identified as a steroid user by the WWF drug testing policy. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, as I've said already, here are my rules. If you get caught with soft drugs, you just get a fine. If you get caught with hard drugs, your ass gets sent to rehab if it gives me the option. And if you get caught with steroids, you get suspended. So sorry, Taz, you've been suspended. He's very unhappy with us. Apparently Paul Heyman is. I don't care. So that means, if we go to the auto push here, wow, we have a lot of people not happy with us. Well, I'm sorry. It's just the rules. So Taz is now suspended. Paul Heyman, mad at us. A lot of people are still angry with us, but deal with it. So now we have to look at our announcers real quick since Taz is no longer here. And we are going to take Taz off and put Paul Heyman in for him. So there we go. Heyman's going to work both SmackDown and Raw for now. Unless we want to switch. Well, none of you guys are color commentators, so no. So there we go. Unless we want to put Jonathan Coachman in there. Do we want to put Jonathan Coachman in there? Wow. Paul Bear's got good. Nah, let's stick with just Paul Heyman. So there we go. Oh, that's frustrating, nerds and geeks. So not only did Eddie Guerrero piss us off, so I'm assuming Jeff Hardy is now mad at us if we look for that. No, he's not. What? Why is he not mad at us? That's interesting. Usually people are mad at me when they work with impaired people. Maybe Jeff understood. Either way, nerds and geeks, let's check out our storylines before we end this off. And nothing too great, but I it still doesn't. I still like it. Either way, that's gonna be the end of this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you have not already. As always, my name's been OMG, WTF, LOL, FTWBRB, and I'll see you guys for Monday Night Raw. So until then, have a wonderful day.